Hello and welcome back to another Rave podcast, and I am super honoured and excited to introduce you Nancy live in this episode. She's someone I followed musically for a very, very long time, and her energy and her passion for music is just absolutely amazing. So in this episode, Nancy's going to be providing like some great tips and information about, DJing, producing, social media, writer's block, mental health in the music scene, and just how the electronic music scene works as the industry and as a business as well. I came away from this episode not only meeting a great person, but more info that will benefit you guys, and even with myself, with production and music, and even with my podcast as well. I apologise in advance for my croaky voice. I was just getting over a cold when we filmed this episode, and I didn't want to cancel on Nancy. So hope you enjoy this episode. Please leave a comment on what you got from this episode. Hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. So welcome back to another Rave podcast, and today I'm very honoured to have Nancy live. Thanks for joining me.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, where you're from and what got you into like your music journey? Like, where did it all start?
God, loaded question. Well, I'm from Wales originally, but I live in Manchester now, and I lived in Dublin in Ireland for 8 years, which is where I kind of started my live music journey. But prior to that, I was like DJing and it sounds like a naughty word, that DJing. Was doing DJing and stuff and producing for years, but like my love of music and getting into it is probably from like my sister and my brother, big trance heads. Like
Really?
That's the music I love. If you listen to any of my music, it doesn't matter if it's slow, fast, got hard kick, there's always trance elements in there. Always. Like that's the thing.
When you say like trance elements, do you mean like we're talking like Tiesto, Ferry Corsten sort of times, or even before that?
No, like sorry. So when I say trance, I'm talking like Sven Vath, 1990s.
Oh, that sort of stuff.
Kind of like, and I love anything I say psy trance, but again, that usually people think psy trance is something different to what it is now, I suppose. But like just those triplet basses and them like really like hard slamming kicks, and then the melodies, you like to make it a bit dramatic on the breakdowns and stuff. But yeah, listening to trance music with my brother and sister got me mad into it.
That's wicked.
I was just like sat there on PlayStation on Music 2000, I think it was, or something.
Oh, fuck it, that's going back some time, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was actually, everyone says Music 2000, but I'm that old. I think mine was just called Music, and then Music 2000 came out. That's how old I am. Oh. So I used to play on Music, and I used to just, your 4/4 beating your high C strings, making it on, and there was a Mario Music Maker as well. I used to play on that. So yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of remember stuff like that. And also, do you know the guy Look Mum No Computer?
Yeah,
he does that. Oh, he's wicked. And
he is so cool.
Yeah, I saw stuff like that with him doing that. The Music 2000. I'm 34, so I remember exactly what you're on about.
I'm 37, although no one believes me, so I'm quite happy about that.
You don't look 37, so
no.
Still feel 21.
Still feel 21. Except when I stand up. I'm not back at it.
So how did your brother and sister like influence you into that music sort of thing then? Did they start playing like the CDs, or was it kind of like as soon as you turn 18, like come with us sort of thing? And like
not so. It was originally, I remember my sister used to get ready for what they called raves back in the day, completely different to what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And it would never be I'm getting ready for a rave, but you just knew that's what was happening. She'd be getting dressed in like dead cool outfits, is what I would. So early 90s, or I'm trying to think when it was. It'd be late 90s, sorry, early 2000s. Yeah. Like my sister used to go to raves when she was like 15 and 16. So like that's what, like, 99 and 2000. And I'd be sat there on the floor cross-legged with my big fro of hair, like listening to the music she'd have on, and it'd be like, like Ease Are Good and
Yeah.
all those like rave tunes, like the OG rave tunes.
Yeah, yeah.
And she'd just have them on Dave Pearce dance anthems every Sunday, was it? Dave Pearce used to be on Radio 1.
Radio One,
And
yeah.
Pete Tong was on the Friday. My sister used to do what everyone used to do in the 90s. But he'd record the whole like session. We just listen to the Radio 1 mixes.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she'd drop her like 3 tracks, 3 CD rave album on, and I'd just be sat there like this, loving it. We went to Sankeys and everything when it first opened, and she'd have all like the flyers, Carl Cox flyers and things like that, and I was just like, cool. That's what I find mad now, is like I've still got some of her posters that she used to put up in the wardrobe, and I used to be like, oh yeah, Carl Cox, and then like I get to talk to him and stuff. Now it's weird.
That's mad,
That's like
isn't it?
so odd. Yeah, but no, that's what she used to do. And then my brother, he bought a set of turntables, and he's like big into like old school hip hop, and like breaks and things. So he used to like play all that, and I used to be like, yeah, that's cool. I like that too. Why don't we fuse them? Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's how they got me into that, I think. And then my family just loved music as well, so we're all like well into it.
Yeah, when you say about the posters as well. During the pandemic, the posters got massive. Like everyone was collecting and paying big bucks. I actually had a guy called Dave from Fat Media, who's one of the biggest archives for rave flyers.
I think I've seen a post about him actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was showing us all these flyers that he's got, and I'm talking there like from the late 80s, early 90s, all the way to the 2000s. But so them flyers that you got might be worth some money, like.
Oh, thank you for the advice. They were the thing though, like you don't really see it like anymore. Any effort being put into, obviously is put into flyers, but it's not like it used to be. I don't know. The flyers are just something else back in the day, and there used to be proper things that you'd be like, I'm having that on my wall.
That's another person we had on as well, was Junior Tomlin. He was the guy that actually used to airbrush and design all of the flyers.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he used to ride his bike when he was a kid and went to like Ministry of Sound, said I'll design your flyers for you for free, and he used to airbrush them, and that's how he got with Pez. And yeah, it was like, it blew my mind anyway.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool story.
So maybe look into that, like if you've got your flyers, and see. Yeah, that works.
I'd be like, hey, what are these? They're probably not, but yeah. And that they were just all over the walls and like just constantly listening to music. And I'd be like, this is cool. I want to make this. And then I just bought my first set of decks when I was 16 after trying to mix. I learned to mix on 2 tape decks.
Oh, wow.
No. I actually, I was in school. I must have been about 8 or 9. Did you ever do this thing in primary school where you had like it was a tape, and you slid the tape and you could just record straight to a tape recorder, but it was like this big chunky thing. I robbed one of them from school. I took it home and I was like, I can record my mixes now. So I was about 9 years old, and my sister had put, I can't remember what song I can't even remember the song now. I've got the tape somewhere. But what I did was I put a tape in there, a blank tape, and then I put my tape deck on the CD player, and the second tape deck on, and I tried to mash up 2 songs, and I would press this button that nobody knows what I'm on about when I talk about the dubbing button. Did you ever do you remember that?
I remember the big, like the bash down buttons for sure, but I don't remember.
Well, there used to be a button, and it was either hidden or right in the middle. It's called the dubbing button, and you used to press it, and it used to speed it up so everything sounded like a chipmunk. So I sit and bashed the hell out of it. It would stretch the tape in time, like get it to beat match, because I could kind of beat match just. I don't know. You just know it, don't you, naturally, and what key something's in maybe. I used to sit there bashing this and record it on this little tape recorder that I robbed from primary school. It's a thief. But yeah, that's how I started doing mixing and stuff, and like always wanted then vinyl decks.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever, for all the people I've spoke to, I don't think I've heard anyone do mixing through a tape from school or anything like that.
Honestly, I remember one of the ones I did I was like, this is brilliant. It was Cosmic Gate, Exploration of Space. Was that like 2001 maybe?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm dead weird. I always remember like really weird dates. That's probably wrong. Exploration Space, Cosmic Gate, and then Toucan, Light a Rainbow. And I was like, oh, that vocal fits perfectly with that breakdown. I mashed it up. I recorded it on this tape recorder, and I put the tape into a jiffy bag and wrote. I sent it to Dave Pearce at Radio One.
Sweet.
Like, but I didn't have the address or anything, and just posted it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it never got there. But I was like, this is a dead cool mix. I made this. Such a geek.
I wonder.
Yeah, that was on tape deck.
What's that?
That was on tape decks, yeah.
I wonder where that tape is right now. I'll be intrigued if someone actually had that.
Could you imagine just sat in their attic or something like, oh, what's this tape? Oh, God, what's this monstrosity? Because as well, the tape recorder, obviously, was a microphone.
Yeah.
So it picked up everything. So it wasn't like aux corded. So it's probably got me like really heavy breathing on it as well. That's a weird thing.
Do you remember when you used to get the big pen and you wanted to run your tape and then you used to like just run your hands like that really quick to try and get it to where
get it back? Yes. Oh God, we're old. Sorry.
Yeah, generation now. So what vinyl decks did you get then from that then? When was that? How did you? Well, actually, what was your first vinyl collection that you did, and what were your first decks? Yeah.
So all the my dad bought from when he was really young. He built up his own like you don't really get them anymore, but like stereo stacks, like with the amp and all the different bits and bobs. And he had a Kenwood one. It was boss. It was so cool.
Yeah.
And he so I used to play all his records on that, but he was like, he loved like Black Sabbath and everything. And he's a massive like Status Quo fan, so I used to listen to that stuff, and then I'd buy like, I'd say embarrassingly, I don't care, I have no shame in what music I used to like, but again, trance, but also Scouse House. I used to love listening to like Scouse House and Happy Hardcore, not the really crappy over the top donkey stuff, but just like dinky, like Acid in My Fridge and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
All the old like anything that had like acid in it I used to like buy. But even before I started buying my own records, I was like, right, I need to buy some decks. And I got a job when I was 16. I left school. First job I got, the first paycheck, I bought a set of I ordered Newmark decks, and they were just belt driven, really bad.
Oh yeah.
And they were out of stock when I ordered them. And they sent me direct drive ones instead, and I was like, "Ooh,
oh yeah,
yeah." And I buzzed off that, and I had them for like 6 months, and I started like DJing out at like my friends' parties and things. They'd have like house parties, and I'd take my decks up. And one day they got robbed from the party. It was a big long story. My dad went up there to kick off that kind of buzz. They got robbed. Yeah, they got robbed, and I ended up buying a pair of Stanton STR8 150s, and I just had them because I could have got Technics, because at the time Technics they're nowhere near the price they are now, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Stanton, and I got a little an SMX 401 mixer with the kill switches, because that was like a new thing.
Yeah.
2-channel thing, and these STR8 150s with the key change, which is on Pioneers as the master tempo, I think, on the CDJs, where key correction, sorry, not key change.
Yeah.
And I had them, and I thought I was the shit, because I could speed things up and it would all stay in the same key as well. And they lasted me a very long time, though.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
My first.
So much Technics.
What's that?
They're so much better than Technics. Stanton were the best.
Yeah, I mean, I had some Stantons that I bought from a boot fair.
Probably mine.
Yeah,
I sold mine for about 30 quid, and then I was told they would have gone for a lot more. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So, obviously, you're doing the parties, then. Like, what vinyl did you collect? Like, for the party, what was your first vinyl? Where did you go to collect your first vinyl? Like to do the house parties and stuff. Like, what was the first sort of stuff?
The only place you could buy vinyl near me. So I'm thinking like the nearest city to us is Chester, which had a HMV. So I'd have to get the bus there. It's like an hour. from Wales where I was, and would go in there, and they used to have like white label stuff brought in all the time,
Yeah.
and it was dead. It was dirt cheap vinyl. I used to get for like 39 pence.
Oh,
It's
no,
crazy. But
don't.
you just dig. Yeah, I used to go into HMV and Virgin Megastores. I was obsessed with going in both of those. They were right next to each other in Chester, and I just used to dig through. And I remember one guy brought in. Do you remember the Kelly Lorena track "True Love Never Dies"? And then
Oh,
I think
fucking
Rank One Airwave. That
Airwave,
was
is it?
another track.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there was this guy, and I never found out his name. He just dropped them in, 10 white labels, and I've still got that vinyl somewhere. It's a mashup of those two tracks, and oh my god, it works beautifully. But I just used to rinse that all the time. That was one of my first ones. But yeah, I just used to go in and get like there'd be like loads of anything BK stuff, BT, all the bees, just literally anything that had a little and a 4/4. I'd be like, yeah, I love that, I love that, I love that, I love that.
Yeah.
Nobody liked listening to it when I played it at the party, but I did. I
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
care.
how was it doing your first DJ gig in front of in front of a small crowd? Because I used to do my friends' parties at 16. I used to shit myself. And
Oh man,
yeah, how was
yeah.
your experience like that? I love hearing these sort of stories. So
I can't remember the first house party, but like how it doesn't matter even now. Like back in the day I was playing to like 40 people at a house party, and now like 8,000 in Fabric in Madrid or something, and I still feel the exact same. I always need the toilet literally 5 minutes before I go on. Like nervous poo. Sorry, that's
so
the
good.
thing.
We're
The
all
worst
human.
is when you're at a festival though, and it's just Portaloo.
Oh yeah, they're the worst.
Not good. But yeah, it's the same every time. I get this feeling like it's not like I'm going to be sick. I feel like I'm going to shit myself. Literally that feeling. I don't know, but I love it. Not the shit myself bit, but the like buzz 5 minutes in. But I do remember playing. It was like one of the first times I played at a house party, and my hand was shaking so much. I kept knocking the platter
Oh yeah.
on the vinyl, and I couldn't get the needle to go where I wanted it to. But even now, like before I play, if you ever watch me on stage before I go on, I look like a weirdo. I look like a weirdo anyway. But
You don't.
5 minutes prior, I'm coming off cold sweat from going to the toilet,
Yeah.
and then I'm sat there and I'll use like whatever. I'll either have my machine plus, which is pads, or my Electron AR2, and I just stand there drumming, and the poor DJ that's getting ready to finish is probably looking at me thinking, is she okay? Are they all right?
Yeah.
Because my hands shake so much, I have to kind of get it out. But yeah, it's still the same. That's what I used to do. Just used to shake loads and just get really panicky, and still do that now to this very day.
It's good that you say that, because a lot of people who like watch this show as well with like new DJs and stuff like that, and I was the same. And I read a book, and some people have also told me as well. I said that if you're not nervous before a gig, then you're not passionate. So if you're always nervous, no matter how many years you've done it, you are passionate about that to this day. And that's fantastic that you're still like that. No matter what your routine is, you still love it.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic, like for other people to like see that if they're in that same boat.
Oh, honestly, I don't know what it is. I think as well, I put a lot of pressure on myself because I'm traveling with a lot of kit, and it's like, will it work? Won't it work? Oh my God. Sometimes I do wish I was just DJing, just stick those USBs in and go. But even then, it's still absolutely, yeah. I don't think that'll ever leave me, that nerve-wracking feeling. Like I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I haven't for the last 4 months, and that has helped as well. That's
Nice
helped a
one.
lot.
Yeah.
But it hasn't helped with the beginning bit. That's still the thing. What I used to do was, because I got so nervous, I would drink, and then it loosens you up, and you'd be like, yeah, that's cool. Whereas now I don't drink, and I'm like, so I had to learn ways to literally calm myself down when I'm on stage.
Bit like meditating then, yeah.
Yeah, but meditating while you're in the middle of a drum room.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But yeah, that's still to this day, as you're saying, like from day dot, DJing in a house party to playing, full live instrument set on stage, exactly the same.
Yeah,
To run to the toilet, feel like crap for 5 minutes, shaky hands, and then get into it, and then look a bit nuts,
that's
dancing
wicked.
away.
That's wicked. Because this is gonna this fucking still makes me cringe to this day talking about house parties, but it's just jogged my memory. I was doing like a party in like a working men's club hall.
Oh yeah,
for an 18th birthday party. All the families there, right? Someone comes up to me and goes, can you get on the mic and just say that someone's lost their car keys? I fucking grabbed that mic, it was shaking and I was sweating. And you know when you're nervous, you shout just like randomly. I went, anyone lost car keys?
I'm having trouble controlling the volume of my voice.
Yeah, I literally did that. And then like I sort of hid and everyone just looked at me and laughed. I was like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. Find your own fucking car keys.
Yeah, no, microphones are the worst.
Oh, so yeah, that's when the nerves thing. Oh mate, that was the worst when I did that. Jesus. So I can relate to the nerve thing 100%. So
it's what you said though. It's good, isn't it? It's you're passionate about something if you're nervous.
yeah, exactly. Going on from like the parties and doing that. When was your first like sort of club gig and how did you get it?
Depends what we class as a club, I suppose. Actually, no. First club gig was actually quite cool. Warehouse Project in Manchester.
Oh fucking hell! Straight off the bat.
Yeah, I know, right? That was like the first big club, but that was because at the time, so in 2008, I moved to Manchester the first time, and I literally just went into all the bars along Canal Street and what is now the Northern Quarter, places like that, and just literally went, I can DJ. Do you want me to DJ? Blah, blah, blah. And I don't know why. I was actually talking to someone about this the other day. I have no idea how I got half of those like gigs.
Yeah.
Because I had like residencies for the whole, like Canal Street was, 24-hour party central Monday through to Monday, it never stopped. And I was doing a night on the Monday, students, isn't it? So I was doing Mondays, indie night on a Tuesday, disco on a Wednesday, Thursday was this, Friday was that, then Saturday somewhere else, Sunday. I don't know why they gave me all that, but they were my first like gigs that proper. They were like the bread and butter for me of learning how to read a crowd.
Yeah.
I just thought, like I said, I played at house party and I was like playing all these unknown white label breaksy tunes, thinking, yeah, I'm well cool. This is cool. Everyone just stood there like, who is this weirdo? Get her out of here. And like, obviously, during the war, iPods didn't exist. Do you know? No. So it was like someone couldn't just take the aux cable and shut me up. It was literally I was playing the music and they had to deal with it. Yeah. Whereas then I went to like these bars and stuff and was playing, and I still do the exact same thing because I play music that I like. I probably get into it and dancing. Even the commercial gigs that I did, I wouldn't play. I love pop music. I hate it when people are like, I don't like pop music. Get lost. Pop music's fucking incredible.
Yeah, 90s pop music was great.
Oh man, pop music is insanely good. It's a bit shit now, but I just think everything's quite rehashy at the minute. But I digress. Like I would play commercial music that I liked, and I did like live mashups and things like that. And then from playing those gigs, the guys who would put nights on in different venues were the guys who started Warehouse Project. So they're actually a media agency now, Drop the Mustard. And they like run the biggest media marketing agency for festivals all over the world. They're huge, but those guys, like Ollie and Ed and Rob, they started Got the Mustard, and they give me like opportunities to DJ at their nights in places like Fallowfield, which is the student area of Manchester. So I do their nights when House and Techno would put on the flyers. Do you remember like when it first started, like Deep House of like 2011? So they'd been running Warehouse Project back in under Store Street, the first load, and they would I'd play Room 3, which is That's just fucking cool. I actually completely forgot about that until you asked, like, what's the first club thing? And I was trying to think. So Warehouse Project was pretty fucking cool,
Yeah, mate.
to be
Yeah.
fair. But that was from and I always say this is dead important when people ask, oh, how did you get this? How did you get here? How did you get there? Music, first of all, biggest thing. Get if you want to produce your music, get that locked down. But for me, is going and getting involved in nights. I mean, that's what it used to be like. I'm not so sure now.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, get involved in the running of the nights, DJing for people. Even when you're warming up to like 5 people, I'd be doing that in one bar, and they'd be like, "Oh, do you want to play Warehouse Project next week?" Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. But I like those guys. I then went to Ibiza with, and I played in Space, Sankeys,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
parodies, like insane gigs. So yeah, Warehouse Project was first one. Sorry, I went on a tangent there.
That's all good. No, I love hearing these stories. So I think it's fantastic to hear. And sorry, go on.
No, go on. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's because of Zoom. Obviously, there's that little bit delay. I was going to say, like, obviously, how did that Warehouse Project go? You obviously learned how to read the crowd and stuff. But from that, how did you get going to the Ibiza stuff then? Because you dropped that little bomb there. So I want to know how that come about.
So because I would play a lot, and they just wanted someone that, like I said, I learned how to read a crowd from playing all different kinds of nights. Like an indie crowd is completely different, but I knew when to bring something up, when to bring it down, and I learned that kind of thing. Obviously, making a hell of a lot of mistakes along the way.
Yep.
But I would play, obviously, at Warehouse Project, and I was just so enthusiastic, and I would thank everyone, be like, "Oh, thanks for the opportunity, thanks for that." And they would do their own ventures, so they did this thing called Awaken Ibiza. And what it was people would pay a package price and go to Ibiza. It wasn't marketed as an 18 to 30, whatever it's called, one of those the holidays, but it was essentially similar to that, but like, I want to say a classier version, but not really. It would just be, instead of going out and getting pissed, that's what the package would cover. The package would cover you being taken to 3 super clubs, VIP in this club, boat party, with poker and all that, the poker boat party. So they obviously, from DJing for them, and I would flyer for them. Like, I'd do anything. If they wanted me to clean the toilets, I would have done that. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to be in that scene and be known. And they were like, obviously came up with this venture, not me in mind, but they were like, right, we need people to rep on it. And they were like, Lauren be good, and she can DJ at at all these nights. I was just like, I was very lucky. I always think luck is like 99% of the thing anyway in music.
Yeah, and timing as well.
Look, and I think that comes with timing. They just happened to think of me, and I just happened to be free for that summer. I hadn't got anything planned.
Oh,
So yeah, I got to go, and like, I played again, this is mental, and I'm going to sound like such a twat, but yeah, first club I played was Warehouse Project. Second big club I played was Space. Like, how insane is that?
That's mad, mate. Yeah,
I know. And I played it twice in one summer, and it wasn't even like some shitty opening set. Not that they're shitty, that sounded really awful, but it wasn't just like, oh, we'll stick around. I was playing to a packed out room at like 2 a.m. It was just mental. I was just like, this is cool.
That's like a prime time as well. Yeah,
and like Sankeys as well. Before that went Sankeys Manchester. Yeah, I played there as well. That was wicked. That was. But again, that was I remember the date, 11th of November 2011.
Wow.
I played there. Yeah, it's 11/11/11. That's why I remember it. I played there. I think it was Eric Frid way back when. So it was like EDM almost, that kind of Joris Vaughan-y sound.
Yeah,
and I played on a little Tractor when the Tractor S4 controller first came out.
Yep.
I played on that. I was just like mashing up 4 decks, thinking I was the shit. So yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to load again.
No, it's this is why I wanted to, because I know you're very a very nice person and very very exciting person, and I like I like your energy. So it's good.
Thank you. I'm very excitable. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And also, I just wanted to kind of like after doing that, then the Ibiza thing. Where was the next journey? Was it then? Is that going into like the whole the live set hardware stuff from there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. So what happened was, like I said, I know a few years prior to that, I just mentioned I was playing on a Tractor S4.
Yeah.
I've never had money, so I've never been able to buy a decent laptop or a decent set of decks. So I was just like, I saved up all my money. I was like, I can buy this S4, and then dead stupid, I didn't realize you needed a computer for it. So then I had to buy a laptop, and it didn't really work very well. And then I was like, I got used to having 4 decks. And I was like, I like this 4 decks, because I was like bringing in old school tunes, but then cutting in. I love doing it in my productions as well, like making my own breaks. I don't like just using ones from sample packs.
Yeah.
I'm not a snob. You know, when you just got, I think breaks you have to have a feel for, like, what's going to fit, so you then go to that tune, you pull that. So that's what I used to do live on the decks. I'd pull like a section of a really old tune, the breaks bit of it, and then bring it in something, and then I'd have like a synth layer that I'd pulled from another tune on the 4th deck, and bring that in and like pitch control it. And I was like, this is cool. And then over the years then leading up to like Ibiza, I would always play across 4 decks. I played, like, my first festival was Parklife Festival. Again, the guys who run Warehouse Project.
Yeah.
So to those guys, I've never really listed it like this, but those guys I owe so much to, and I still speak to them now. Love them to bits, and they still, I still see them when I get booked at Warehouse Project now and things like that. So it's really cool. But like over the years, they've like let me play, and I've always experimented on the 4 decks. And it was this one gig in Ibiza I did in space, and it was just to me, everyone else might have thought it was shite, but it was just amazing, because I was like, I had 4 tunes going on, and it wasn't a mess. It wasn't, when you hear mashup sometimes and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like a bit too much kind of thing. Yeah.
But I would like, you didn't have the digital quantize then, so like I knew, just is so intuitive, like on the deck exactly where I wanted the loop to be, and it's just constantly on the go. And then someone said to me, do you play instruments? I was like, yeah. And like, I'm self-taught on loads of, I'm not stupid. I can pick up, if you play a song to me, I can play it on the piano kind of thing. I can pick it up from here.
Yep.
And they're like, have you ever seen anyone play live? And I was like, no, I haven't. And they're showing me like videos of people just like playing. It was mainly minimal techno that was being played, and I was like, yeah, cool. And then I got home and I was like, so I was like, I downloaded this software to remap my S4 controller to Ableton.
Yep.
I turned it into like, it doesn't work anymore because of all the updates in Ableton and blah blah. But at the time, I had like a synth pad on the go and a drum rack and stuff on an S4. And it's like, sick. And then from there, I left Manchester and randomly moved to Ireland.
Okay.
That's a different story. And I got a new job over there, which paid well, and I went, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to Ireland and I'm just a live artist. That's it. That's what I am. And I went into a shop. I think about it now, it must have been dead cringe, but I went in and I had heard all about the Roland Era stuff, and I just bought it. Yeah, the TR8, the MX1, the TB3 little acid machine, and the System 1. And I still have all of them except the TR8. And it was the best thing I ever did. It's so cool. But I didn't know shit. And it's taken me, no, honestly, I think they're quite, I learned a lot from for production as well, because I made tunes, but oh my god, they were shockingly bad. I didn't know anything about sound engineering at all, but I knew I could pick up a guitar or sit at a piano and write a song.
Yeah.
I know how to do that, but I didn't know how to make it, and it's taken me so long to do it. And like I think now, I've got it nailed. But that is from buying the live synths and playing out to crowds, knowing what things need to be quieter, what things need to be louder, what needs reverb, why does it need reverb? Oh, because they can't hear it there. It needs to be wider. I learned a lot from playing live.
Yeah.
And that's how I got it. Yeah.
That's sick. I'm glad you like explained that, because I've been starting to seeing a lot of people want to get. I'm seeing a lot more live sets and people wanting to do more live stuff. I found like I always play with instruments anyway like when I produced. Like I'm like yourself. I like to do it manually more than draw it in, right? And I I'm kind of that person. Like I started it, I didn't know shit either. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I watched some people, I think it was like Shlomi Aber or whatever his name is. He was like, I don't know what after the shit I'm doing after time. Or I think it's even Daft Punk as well. They just no, Deadmau5. And he said, I'll just smash shit in, and then that's a tune I'll stick with. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. Like, but it's good that you've got that that musical theory, and that you can do that, right? And then the production, like learning all the, like you say, the reverb and the compressions and stuff like that can come after, sort of thing.
Yeah,
so it's good that you explain it like that.
Yeah, like I used to be like, you've probably done it yourself. If you were like me, you didn't have an engineering background. Like now I mix down and master for people, and I'm very proud that I can do that. I do everything myself, A to Z kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but I bet you're in the same position as me. Like I would sit there and I'd take 8 months on one track, and you'd be like, oh, I need to add this compressor, and I add this, and I add this. And you're like, now I don't add anything. I literally don't add anything until the very end, and it's dead quick, dead easy, and I make a track a day. Wow. It's like but that's a personal goal of mine since stopping drinking.
Yeah,
I want to try and make a track a day. Now, when I say make a track a day, it ain't some masterpiece. Some of it's shit. But you get, like you said, you're just bashing in your happy accidents. So, I might have made 100 tracks and only 10 of them have been good and things like that. But that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. But that is all, I put it all down to scrapping the CDJs. I learned arrangement from DJing of when builds and things should come in, but then actually learning, like about synthesizer and what noises work, because some noises don't work. Some people sit in front of synthesizer and they're like, yeah, this is cool. You play that in a massive club on a big system, it's just hurt. It's just horrible. It's not nice. So I learned like how synths should sound, and I learned all like pretty much all the basis of what I know now. I learned when I switched over to live and switched to those instruments, because and a lot of people like talk about like VST synths, soft synths on in their door, like in Ableton and Logic, and they're like, oh, how do you make this, and how do you? I was like, honestly, I could never do anything on a VST because it's on a flat screen, you can't touch it. I'm like you said, I'm that person that has to sit there, and twiddle the knobs. Oh, what does this button do? But that's how I learned all my stuff, from switching to those Roland era pieces. They're mint, they are. I've still got the MX1. I use that in my sets now. It's the best mixer ever for transporting around, and the system one I love also.
That's wicked. I'm glad you said you'd like do your own mix downs and mastering, because I might need someone to do it, or I might need some help. But I'm nowhere near as good as you, but I'm still in that phase even after 10 years of spending like 6 months on one track. So
I think there's just a moment that it's just it has to, like, you just have to hit this moment. I think I hit it just post-pandemic, because even during the pandemic I was still making these 10-minute long tracks that were fucking unreal in my head, but it don't work on a dance floor. And then I was like spending ages on it, going back to it, and there's just a moment that you just hit, and it's just boom. Then you're making a track, then you make another track, and you're like, oh, make another, and then you get writer's block, and then you make a load of tracks, and then you get writer's block again. It's just, you just have to keep going with it, and it eventually, just because there's some people I know that are like, oh, I just can't get past this bit, and I don't know what I'm doing with this, I'm like, how long have you been producing? 6 months. Oh, mate, you've got a long way to go. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
worry
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
So that's one thing I'm going to ask you, because I suffered. Don't laugh at me, but I suffered producer's block or writer's block for 3 years, and I just couldn't get my head around it. Like, what would your advice be to get around that? Like, I know your advice might work for someone. That's why I ask. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it is different for everyone. I get different. This sounds silly, but this is sorry. Trying to explain it. I get different types of writer's block. There's the one that is the biggest hurdle for me is what I call producer block, writer's block, is when I am focusing too much on other people's shit and what they're doing and why
yeah,
aren't I doing this? Why are they getting this deal? Why are they doing this? Oh, now I can't make something. That is the biggest one for me. And I don't know if that classes as writer's block or just me being an anxious little twat and needing to not, stay in your own lane, focus on your own stuff. But for that one, which I know a lot of people get and say, oh, I've got writer's block. It's because you're concentrating too much on what other people are doing, not your own thing. And you're probably doing it for the wrong reason. Like, I'm be the first to admit I've done it before where I'm like, I just want to be played on Radio 1, or I want to be booked for the gig with 10,000 people and sell it out. And is that why you're making music, or you're making it because you enjoy doing it? So for that one, I take a week off. I know that sounds like a lot to some people, maybe not a lot, I don't know. For me, it's a lot, because every day, Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., I'm in my home studio making stuff. So for me to take a week off is a big deal. And it's still, even now, it happens. Like, it happened the other week. I got that block where I was looking Instagram. Social media it's great, but it just also comes, there's always good and bad.
tell me about it.
And it puts you in such a bad place sometimes. Like, one day everyone's like, oh, you're tagged in a million things, you've got Patrick Topping, Kolsch, King all messaging you, and then nothing for 6 months, and you're just like, oh, you can't even get people to listen to music because they're all mental busy as well. They haven't got time to do shit like. So you have to stop looking at social media, take a week off, and after a week of, no music, I don't listen to like techno or house or anything when I'm on that week off. I will, at the most, I love classical music and 50s and 60s. Well, basically any era, bar the 2000s, although some of it's all right. But yeah, I'll just listen to like pop music from those eras, and you'll be surprised how many ideas you get when you come back to it. And again, it's not that, oh, I'm going to now write a masterpiece, I've had a week off. It might be that you write nothing decent for a few weeks. But just having that break and separating yourself from the world that you're in, because you're in this, my life, and I only realized when I went my first holiday in forever that I went on, I'm just back. I only realized when I came back how much of a bubble I put myself in. My life is literally this my entire life is put into my music. And that's, I'm waking up and I have my coffee at 6 a.m. While I'm having my coffee, I'll scroll through SoundCloud, I'll check the stats, check the download stuff. And then I go upstairs and I'm making the music. Then I'm contacting my agency, have contacted me. Everything in my life is to do with music. And I didn't realize, how much you need to get away from that sometimes. So sorry, again, going off a tangent, but that particular writer's block where you're concentrating on what other people are doing and not the reason why you should be doing it, that is take time off, step away, don't even discuss dance music or whatever it is you make. Just go into nature. I know that's the lame thing to say, but yeah, go and just do something completely different, and then come back to it.
Yeah.
And then the other writer's block, which is what I would say is legit writer's block, when you're sat there and you have, I've got it at the minute. I've got this absolute banging tune that has this insane drop, and I'm just like, it needs something else. And so what I've done, that's why I was a bit late coming back. I decided to just, me and my girlfriend just went shopping, just went out for a little bit, and then just needed to get away. So again, it's probably the exact same advice, but on a smaller scale. Is you don't need to go away for a week, just go away. have a conversation with someone, don't listen to your song, don't think about it, just step away from it. When you come back, like, I've now got an idea of kind of what I need to do. And then a more practical solution that I always find is when you are in the middle of a song and you don't want to get away from it, which most parts of my day are, say I'll finish a tune, but then I'm not quite sure about something, I need to add something. Maybe I download it, export it, stick it on SoundCloud, load it ready, get my headphones, and I go for a walk. And I'll literally go for a walk for about 10-15 minutes with on my headphones and just walk and listen to it over and over and over and over and over. And you'd be surprised how much stuff you hear. Like another track I had the other week, I was listening to, and I was like, yeah, it's amazing. And I was like, something not quite right. Went for a walk. I was like, hi-hat's too loud, because you're hearing it in different environments as well.
For sure, yeah.
And I was like, oh, actually, that break, that should just not be there. That song should just end there, an outro. Why have I added this? So yeah, I think the overall arching theme of those writer's block things are stepping out away from what you're doing, leaving it for a little bit, and then come back. I know it doesn't sound like proper advice, but it's what I do, and it works every time. Whether it's a week, an hour, or just a few minutes to go and make a coffee, just step away and then come back to it. The best way. For me, anyway.
Yeah, I think any advice is good, because obviously your advice might help 100 people, and then say my advice might help 10 people. It's helping someone at least, right? You know, it's
exactly.
And you can take people can take bits from that as well that suit them, and you know, that helps them out with what they're doing. So
exactly.
That's the joy of why I like doing this, is because I get to meet amazing people like yourself. And you can share that sort of knowledge as well. And even myself, even I can learn from that. So, you know.
Even I can. I forget sometimes. Sometimes I forget to stop scrolling on Instagram.
Oh, tell me, it's a nightmare, innit? Once I've started, I've actually come away from TikTok, because once I'm on it, I'm on it, and you come past this screen, it goes, you've been on TikTok for an hour. I'm like, has an hour gone that quick? Like, what?
Well, yeah. I haven't. I have TikTok, but I have it solely to post, because once, and only once, and this is a true story, once I've scrolled on TikTok, and exactly like you said, I looked at the clock, and like an hour and 45 minutes had passed, and I was like, whoa. I was looking, and it was the maddest things. It was Airbnb nightmares. That's basically this whole went on this rabbit hole of like watching people turning up at Airbnbs, and they had like security cameras in the toilets and stuff like that. And I was like, an hour and 45 minutes. I was like, dude, people have wrote like hits in the shower in 20 minutes. You've just wasted so much time. What are you doing? So I don't go on TikTok. Purely because everyone tells me that exact story you said. You know, it comes up to you've been on there forever.
I was watching like the Hoof Doctor. This guy, the geezer that goes around like helping all these farm animals. I'm like, I've been on this for an hour. Like,
I thought you were going to say at least it was a funny thing. It's not. It's literally a Hoof Doctor.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's just like helping all these farm animals. I was like, oh, he's doing such a great job. And I'm like, it's been an hour and a half now, Brad. Come on, like.
It's crazy though. That algorithm is nuts. I wasn't even searching for anything. It's all in the eye tracking and stuff, isn't it? Like, crazy app. But yeah, I refuse. I know how important it is to keep up to date with certain cultural things, and you know, but I can't. Doom scrolling. That's what my mate calls it. Doom scrolling. Yeah, I can't do that. So because I would lose time.
Oh yeah, and I, what you said earlier as well actually is that social media can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So obviously we've noticed that it's a nightmare when you're on it for you can scroll in. But talking about the good stuff, like how do you utilize social media to help build your brand, like schedule posting? Like how do you like work social media in your favor?
I used to do the whole schedule posting thing, but I found it dead. I don't know, it was just a bit meh. Yeah. I like meh. It's just, that's the only word. It's meh. Schedule posting. It's like you're not really in it, and I feel you could do that back in the day because people didn't really. It wasn't new, obviously, social media, you know, but it was in its earlier stages. People weren't using TikTok, but I was scheduling posts, and it would be great, and it worked. but I wasn't engaging with anyone properly. Whereas now I do everything as and when, all myself. Other people used to do my social media, and it just isn't me. You can literally tell when I put a post up, and I use it to just to connect to people, to connect with people. Sorry, to people, connect with people. So I just find that's a better way of like getting your music out there. Not putting a post up going, I've got a new single out, blah blah blah. But like putting up videos of like when I was at gigs, and then I get so many DMs, and that's again, it is good, obviously connecting with people, but sometimes it can be a bit much. I DM everyone back. I'll voice note as well to people, and people I've never met before that have come to my gigs. I still talk to now. They'll ask me things about music, and there's one person that comes to pretty much all my gigs, and I will talk to them. A lot of people won't do that and won't like DM people back and don't really use their social media to connect to people that way. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, like, but
I think it's good. Yeah.
That's how I use social media. That's how I use it, and I also I was told, I've been told in the past, because obviously when you start out, you've got no one helping you as such, and then you get a manager, you get an agent, you get all these people that have their input. And the amount of times I've been told, oh, you need to do this, you need to be more like this on social media, and I like being me. I'll take a video of me with my hair like in the morning and a bit of egg stuck on my face where I've just nailed an egg and bacon sandwich and brown sauce dripping down me, and I'll be like, listen to this tune, yeah. And mine's quite like personal. I don't know if that's a word, but yeah, that's how I use it anyway. Again, I don't know if that's a good way of doing it, but like other people have had input before and saying, oh, you need the brand to be more cool and techno and serious, and maybe that's why some techno bands, their brands might not work with me because I'm not as serious, maybe. But I do what I do because I love it, not because of how I want to be portrayed and how I want people to think I am. So yeah, that's how I use my social media. I'm just me on it.
I think that's perfect.
A bad thing.
I think that's absolutely perfect, because there's I've been put off with social media because I feel like you have to have this persona to do it, right? Like you have to have this certain image. And now now I'm getting older. I'm like, oh, who gives a fuck? Kind of thing,
Isn't it though? I used to like I was thinking the other day, I used to put like, it sounds quite cringe now and I actually hate myself for a bit. I used to put selfies, and just saying that and physically taking a picture of yourself like this and putting it off is actually so weird. So like most of my stuff I will only put up. I like showing people how to use like this stuff, like how a synth will sound with a guitar pedal, and I love showing people that stuff, and I love showing people behind the scenes at gigs, or what I do in the studio. So mine's more about what I do, how I do it. But yeah, like you said, some people, there's a certain persona and cool kind of vibe to it, and they don't really have that kind of thing in it, which is probably better for a big brand. That's probably why my brand's not so big. But it's like, mine is just, it's me and how I am. And literally, if you meet me, it's exactly the same as, on social media. Like you meet some people and you think they're going to be like, you just think they're going to be dickheads, right? Just from their social media. And then you meet them and they're like the loveliest people on the planet. They're like so nice. Or you'll meet some people that are like mental on their social, and you chat to them and they're like the most, I don't want to say boring, but the most boring people you've ever met.
Just straight to the point.
So a lot of people do have their, their online persona, but I'm just exactly the same, I think.
I think that's fantastic. And the fact that you're explaining that's, well, first of all, really good. But in that conversation, you said that you like to show people your setup. So run us through what your actual setup is now, and what, do you take that exact setup to every single gig that you go to?
I do. So my setup used to be massive, as in I used to have to, overseas gigs were just it was a bit messy.
Mm-hmm.
The Obviously we've already spoken about how anxious you are before a gig anyway.
Yeah.
But imagine taking like 10 grand's worth of equipment and not sure if because you're an anxious OCD whatever anyway, and you're like, did I pack that cable? Because one cable doesn't work in a live setup and you're fucked.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. It's like one MIDI cable doesn't work and you've daisy chained the whole thing, nothing's in sync, you're screwed. But you get workarounds. Touch wood. All the cables have worked so far every time. But yeah, my equipment, my setup used to be quite big. Like all the Aura stuff when I first started was, it's all like, I don't know if you know how the size of the TR8, but like, what's behind me? But like, it would be like 7 pieces, a 2-meter stage kind of thing in width and 1 meter depth, and it would be full cables, full. And over the years, I've learned, like, I do a lot of buying synths, selling synths, not because I'm one of those people that like to sit in a room hoarding synths. I'm definitely not one of those people. She says with all the synths behind it. But I will only keep what I use. And so over the years, people have asked me, what piece of equipment should I get to start live? And I'm like, I'm never going to tell you that, because what works for me might not work for you. It depends what you're doing. I don't use a computer when I play live. So for me, it's really important that I don't need to do anything outside of the box. So a lot of people, when they play live, they have all the stems running through Ableton, and then they'll jam over the top. But everything will be EQ'd through Ableton.
Yep.
I need something that's, advanced enough that I can EQ it in the box. I'll use Ableton to check that EQ, fab filter and stuff, run it through just to double check it, the low end and things. But it'll all be EQ in the box. So what I've done over the years is shrunk everything down as well. I found I knew they existed, but I always thought they were really expensive. And then I found like synths that were multi-timbral. So like my setup, I don't know if you can actually see. Let's swing around. That's my current setup.
Is that the 707?
This is the Machine Plus.
Yeah.
The Native Instruments sent me this. This is a game changer.
Oh, you got the Boss as well, 505. That's sick.
Yeah, this is my lifeline. This has, I'll explain that in a minute. This Virus TI is a 4 timbral, 16 voice, 32 voice synth. And then this is the MX1. And then this isn't plugged in, but this is the Brain, the Digitact.
Yeah. Oh, they're great, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I use. And I'll take, what I do now and then is I'll pick one of these synths to take with it. I say smaller and then I just pick up a load of synths. But yeah, so that's the setup I take. It's pretty small. Like it's not, but I've got it nailed now, so I can fit it in a, sorry, let me just fix this back on.
That's all good.
I've got it now. So it all fits into a cabin bag that I can take on the flight, so I don't have to put it in the hold, because if you've ever flown with the likes of Ryanair or someone,
Whoosh.
an synthesizer. I was my friend Hannes Bieger, Unreal engineer. He travels with Sub 37.
Oh,
and I'm like, Hannes, how do you do this?
Oh, Hannes Bieger, did you say?
Hannes Bieger.
Bieger, yes. I watch his YouTube channel. Yeah.
Mate, he is the nicest guy on the planet. I love him. I'm playing in Fabric Madrid with him in a month or two. And we actually met in Fabric Madrid last year. And we just chat all the time. He's like the nicest guy on the planet. But he scares me because he travels with the Sub 37. But he can fix it. He literally, like the other day, the baggage handlers like threw it around, even in a Peli case. And he was pre-gig taking it apart, and I was just like, I'd just cry. I wouldn't know what I'd do.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, all my stuff is, if you went to a synth head, they'd be like, it's not great. If I can make a sound from something, and then, like I said, EQ it in the box and make it sound good, I'm happy out. I'm good. I'll use it. So that's my setup in the minute. And then these two, I usually switch between the Taras AS1 and the 303 for like bass and whatnot. And my guitar pedals. It's tiny, and then pointing out all the other bits. But yeah, it all fits in a cabin bag and my backpack. So
that's
I don't have to put anything Yeah, it's military precision. It's like when you watch me setting up, I'm always like, it's like something out Full Metal Jacket. I'm like,
Yeah.
and that's with cables as well, because cables take up so much room.
Yeah. Do you have a mixer that you use for your setup stuff as well?
Yeah, the MX1, and
Oh,
then on
that's
my
okay,
rider,
gotcha.
yeah. So the MX1, I have everything running through, and it's got onboard effects. But the big thing for me is sidechain.
Yeah.
You can emulate sidechain, like my father's Satek, who plays live. He
Satex a
doesn't use
legend.
sound. Yeah, he doesn't use sidechain. He said he wishes he had something that did. He uses Ableton for his stems and stuff, but sidechain, he's like, oh, doesn't matter. It'd be good if he had it, but he hasn't.
Mm.
Whereas I don't know, I really like this. I like that pumpy, again, back to the trancey, pumpy sound. I need that sidechain. So for me, the MX1 has a built-in beat effects, which is sidechain.
Yep.
So that's why I use that. I've been through 5 of them. I know. I've got another one behind me. I don't know if I can move, but yeah, there it is.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, I know. And then that one up there, and then there's another one down there that's just been returned back to me because they're not the best build. They're plastic. They get bashed around a lot, even in the cabin bag. But yeah, I use that mixer, and then on my rider I'll have a 4-channel mixer.
Yeah.
Which I have stuff going through. But the loop pedal is like game changer as well. Because I could have all that equipment and all the stuff I used to have. Amore sent me Electron AR2 just for drums and percussion loops and everything in the background that really fattens out a track.
Mm-hmm.
I now have that on my RC505. You can have like stems on there, so I put stems on, and they'll be like I have a section for hard techno, a section for like trancey kind of sounds. I'll have a section for house, and I'll make them in Ableton, EQ them, and then drop them into the loop pedal. I'll even have some synth stabs because there are some synths that I can't afford a sub 37 take on the road. You know what I mean?
No,
It's and I always said I always wanted a 303, and then I was like, why the hell would I want a 303? I'd never take it on tour with me, as if you'd take a vintage synth, unless you're Hannes, I'm not going to take a vintage synth with me. So sometimes I can't emulate the synth because I don't have the money to buy the big, Moog or anything. So I'll use Diva on Ableton. I'll make some sounds on there. 16 bar loop, whack them into the loop pedal. You've got yourself some stabs, vocals as well. Microphone hooked into the RS5. I do vocals on the fly, and then
that's sick.
Yeah, and that's what I use the Digitact for. The Digitact is the brain; it controls everything. So it sequences the virus. It'll sequence the 303. It'll sequence the RC505. I've linked it so I can start the loops on there using the Digitact. So I don't even have to touch the RC505 unless I'm doing live loops. It's taken years, but I think I've perfected it, and I'm going to stick with the setup. I'll probably change it a little bit, but I think I've got it down now to how I want it. And with the stems and stuff on the RC505, I can really pad out a track. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you're at a DJ set. I used to find that a lot of people are like, oh, you can tell the difference between a live set and a DJ set. The quality is less on a live set, not in terms of like, talent and playing, and you go to a Kink set and it's insane. Kink is insane, but you do know it's a live set, because he's jumping around and doing all this stuff. I like that people know it's a live set, but I also wanted the quality of a DJ track, as in, it's not thinner because I haven't got enough synths to pad this out, or I'm using this. So yeah, I'm waffling. Sorry,
that's
but
fine,
that's what multi-timbral synths as well are the one. So like in my virus, I can use 4 different synths at the same time.
That's
in there. So your bass, your lead, your stab, and then some little pip thing. It's a whole track in one tiny little synth.
That's fantastic. When you say about the sound of like live stuff, I think it's good what you said, because live sets also have more of a human element to them as well. And I think that's why people like and feel more because music nowadays is like it's going to AI route as well. It's going to sound very, very, very too clean. And I think with like look at the old days of like Jeff Mills and that, right? When they were sampling tracks and stuff, it wasn't the best sounding compared to what it is like music today. Not like the quality, not like the talent of his music, but like the sound quality compared to stuff now. It was the human element then, right? It was more, and it was more. So live sets, like you say, are definitely more like of a human element kind of thing. I think that's why a lot of people.
100%. Yeah. And I make so many mistakes. Like I'm not one of those people. Like I'll happily show my mistakes as well. Like I play keys live, and like I'll be
That's
like,
cool.
shit, play the bum note, whatever. But I think that adds to it as well. I'll hold my hands up literally there and then and be like, oh well,
that's good.
Sorry.
That's wicked. But yeah, you've dropped some good names. Like obviously you yourself are very, very talented. Hans as well, Saytek. I like the Karen boys as well. They got the boss as well, and they do the mic stuff. That was
I watched them play in a club in Dublin called Index, and their mixer was huge.
It's like Big Alan and Heath, right? Yeah.
Drop my mixer. There we go. Sorry. Their mixer is insane. They've got a full-on mixing desk, and I was just like, and I think they had the Octatrack and the loop pedals, and I was just like, how do you do this? Like they're insane. I loved watching them. They were brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. So what is your future plans with yourself, and what's coming up that you can reveal? Like what are we likely to see from Nancy moving forward in the future?
Going forward, I've taken the next few weeks to put together a new live set. It's gone because the trend in music has completely changed as well. And I'm not meaning like I'm following a trend, but I've always played faster BPMs, but had to slow it down sometimes. Whereas now I think it's acceptable that I can play at the BPMs that I play at. So I'm fitting my live set back in around that. I love playing like 147. I love playing that, but that wasn't really acceptable last year, whereas now it just is. So rebuilding that live set, and I'm actually doing a few bits with Studio 338 in London. Few gigs coming up with them, and Release London, the label side. I've got 3 releases with them. Some stuff with Stella Bossi.
Nice.
Don't know if you know her. Yeah. She is like the loveliest human. I met her at Terminal V, and when you just click with someone. She's really nice, and she's always been messaging me going, I love your music, ever since I've released Scapegoat in the pandemic on We Are the Brave. She's like, love it. So I've got releases coming out on her label over the year, 3 releases. We Are the Brave, a couple. Basically, I've got a lot of releases this year because I've made a fuck ton of music. I've never made so much music as I have. I'm going to say since I stopped drinking. I didn't even drink that much, but when you just have a hangover and it lasts a week. And like I've just been so productive. So there's a lot of music coming out this year, and I'm just looking at. I've got new management with. Do you know Denson Pika?
Yep.
So Alex from Denson Pika is my manager. He's unreal, and he's amazing. Like they'll send a message to Camel Fat and be like, listen to Nancy's new tune, and Camel Fat are freaking downloading it. It's class.
That's really cool,
and Drum Code and things like that. So we've got a few things going that way that I can't really talk about those, but they're going to be huge. And we're looking at America for 2024, so that's going to be sick. That's the big plan.
And hopefully over to Canada in Vancouver. Hopefully.
Well, Canada. I'll say I have a DUI, a drink driving thing from like 9 years ago.
Oh, okay.
9 years, and I applied for an ETA, which normally takes like 4 minutes or something to come through.
Okay.
I applied for that in April last year, and it's still being reviewed now.
Oh, they're well behind on everything because all the workers walked out, and so they're behind on a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I would love to come to Canada, but I just can't get an ETA. I can't get an ETA on my ETA. So yeah, hopefully Canada gets in on that as well, in South America. So that's a big one for 2024. And I think
Sweet.
Australia again is happening at the end of this year
Oh yeah,
as
because
well.
the
That was cool.
season's the other way around, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
there in, where was I there? December. It was amazing. Best 2 weeks of my life. And it's there, even though it's Christmas, yeah, it's their summer. So,
that's right. Yeah,
uh, so it's good. Good. So I think I'll be over there in January.
that's cool.
Which is cool. But yeah, lots of releases and stuff being played of mine at the minute as well, by some pretty big DJs. So that's cool and fun.
That's cool. And I've got to ask you this actually, and I'm going to ask you, and I might put this edit back near the beginning. What was your DJ name when you was DJing the house parties, and how did Nancy come about?
I didn't really have a DJ name. Everyone just called me Lauren. But Nancy came about because so I love the punk era, so the Sex Pistols and the fashion. It's the fashion thing I love. I love the music and I love like the whole thing around it. But like Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren, all that kind of stuff. So Sex Pistols for me, loved them. And I don't know if you know the story of the Sex Pistols, Sid Vicious and Nancy Spungen, like the ultimate love story, but heroin fueled kind of love story. I love that shit. Not heroin, the love story side. And yeah, there was an interview after because she was murdered, and they did all this interview about, people who knew her, and every single person said, oh, I had such a great time with Nancy, whether I was off her face on heroin, I was on, drinking, I was sober, we were up 5 days on the trot. I always had a good time with Nancy. And my name is Lauren J. Rosalvich, which is a godful even for me. And it does look shit on a poster. So I don't know. I was just like,
it's the way you delivered it. Sorry.
It's like I didn't even know how to say it correctly, and so my pappy is Polish and Italian.
Yeah.
And he didn't even tell us how to pronounce it correctly, and we didn't know until about a few years ago that we were saying it wrong. But so imagine what other people would read that as, and I know some people actually said, "Oh, you should just use it." I'm just like, honestly, at this point in my life, people actually just call me Nancy. Like in Ireland, that's all anyone knows me as. Nobody knows me as Lauren.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of like, it was really awkward introducing yourself as you.
Yeah.
But then trying to get those promoters to take you on, they'd be like, oh, but I thought your name was Lauren. Who's Nat? So I just started introducing myself as Nancy.
Okay.
You can't go back from that. So yeah, so Nancy and then live. And it was a big decision whether to just say Nancy with the live in brackets. So I was like, no, let's just go all out. And people actually think my surname is Live. Someone came up to me at a gig recently and was like, so is it pronounced Lever or Live? Or like, what do you mean? What are you on about? And they were like, your name. And I was like, Live. And they were like, oh, is it pronounced Live? I was like, yeah, but it means live, like I'm playing live. They were like, oh, I thought it was your full name, Nancy Live. So that'd be quite convenient, wouldn't it? That'd be good.
That sounds like a Derek Trotter thing, like Derek Duval.
Monge 2, Monge 2.
Monge 2. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's where it come about, Nancy Spungen. And it just stuck.
Yeah, that's wicked. You gotta get changed legally. Thanks ever so much for your time. Anyway, I really appreciate it. I don't deserve most people's time, but I'm very thankful for you for, giving me your time.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been fun.
I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah,
I have indeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. Anyway, I've only been doing this for like 2 years now. It's been very sketchy. So from the beginning, it started off with voice, and then we got a webcam, and then it went from something we were doing other stuff. I did it with another guy. He decided to pull out and focus on art, so I was like, sweet, cool. And then I went to do it on my own, so I'm doing it on my own now. Then I did a rebrand, so it's kind of. And then I
like the rebrand, by the way.
Why the rebrand? Because it was the Music Matters podcast.
Yeah, and I like it. Sorry, I said I like the rebrand.
Thanks, yeah. Because the Music Matters thing was kind of like very wide, and I've been reading a lot into marketing, like with music and podcasts and things like that. and they said you need to niche down more on specifically what you're doing. And I thought Music Matters was such a broad thing; it could cover lots of things. And I've been in electronic music since I was 16, and I love talking to people about it because I'm a geek with it anyway. So I was like, niche down to rave. So because it is all of it started from the late 80s from rave, So no matter the year or the timeline, it's still the rave.
Everyone knows, don't they? Rave, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's kind of. But I like you. Your setup's sick. I've got the Behringer 303 thing. That's cool.
I love it.
Yeah, it feels cheap, but it's
modded
great.
one. The modded Devilfish version. Have you had a go?
Nah.
Sick. The cutoff is a lot more. There's a lot more to the cutoff.
Yeah.
Frequency wise. So I went from playing that, and then I stupidly I can't remember. Oh, Fabric in London. I was like, taking the modded one with me, and I was like, this is a completely different sound. What the fuck have I done? But managed to. It's insane, and it's got a sub bass on it as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit more expensive, but those 303s, like I've played on a proper 303. It sounds exactly the same.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, if they break, they're cheap as fuck.
Well, I had I've still got it down there. It's broken. The TB03 boutique bassline.
Oh yeah, the
little Roland one.
Yeah.
I used to have I call it my show off cable, and it's a 10-meter long cable that will plug into one particular synth, and I will crowd surf or jump into a crowd and play it. And I did that with it's metal. It's meant to be pretty robust, but I jumped into the crowd with the 303 and everyone was playing it and it got broke. Oh. So I was like, that one, fine, that was like 300 quid, whatever. But if I did that with this, it's like you can buy them for £89 now.
Oh no, it's mad, isn't it?
It's still a lot of money for people, but 89 quid, I'd rather break that than fucking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I've got the Moog D-Fam.
Oh, I love that.
That thing is fucking unreal. I've got the 303. I've actually got the Volcas. I think they sound pretty cool because they're cheap as well.
Volcas are amazing.
The Volca keys.
Yeah.
I did have the Korg sampler too. I've got the micro Korg. But one thing, my main hub, like your Octatrack, is the Arturia BeatStep Pro.
Is the what? Sorry.
The BeatStep Pro, the Arturia.
Oh yeah, I've got the BeatStep Pro. I love that, but the because I move around a lot, I tried it on. It kept coming out because it's the small
headphone jack in it.
Cable.
Yeah,
and I think mine it's obviously very worn, and it just slides out really easily. So I'll even need to replace it. But they're brilliant. They are.
Yeah, I pretty much do with my drum channel. I do that, and then I master all my samples as best I can, like because I use Reason. So I do that, and then I put that on. I'm actually I was using the samplers, but I'm gonna get the Roland TR8S because you can put your own in. I think.
Yeah. It's meant to be really cool. I've never played the TR8S. I didn't know you could put your own samples in until recently.
From what I've read, apparently you can.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to it. But yeah, I apparently put in that, so samples with that, and then do do that. But I've done a set with all Volcas before.
Nice.
The Volca
have you got a video of that?
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I have. It's like 3 years old. Actually, I chucked in the Moog with that setup because I literally bought it the day and I used it on a live set during the COVID set.
You're like me. I would buy something and then not read a manual and just go.
Yeah, that's why I went to. That's why I went to get you on, because like when I watch your stuff, I'm like, first I loved your energy, and then I'm not kissing your ass by the way, but it's just general.
Oh no, you're grand. Kiss away.
But with your setup stuff, I was like, man, she does exactly the same as what I do, and I bought the D-Fam.
I don't. Yeah.
And I just literally.
You don't use a computer then either.
No, I don't use a laptop. I'm completely computerless, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Love it. People don't understand, though, as well. If you give me a laptop that was the best laptop in the world and I trusted it, I don't trust them. I did computer science and I should trust computers, but I know how shit they can be.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't trust going on stage with a computer. Like I was chatting to Roman, to King. He was at a festival I was at,
Yep.
and he was like, "I love what you do with your setup." And I was like, "Mate, you're like my idol." And he was like, "Yeah, but he was at a gig the week before, and his computer broke, and he's like, I couldn't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
that's it." And it's like, at least you can still get noise out of what you've got there. But yeah, I if you gave me a computer and I fully trusted it and it was unreal, I would be. I just think there's too many VSTs. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
If you've got, I think personally, I probably get shot for this, but I think if you're using a computer live, you don't really need other synths because a
No.
diva sounds like every mode is better, I think, than certain synths. And you've Serum. Can you imagine if you had a computer? You just need the computer, really, wouldn't you? Maybe a MIDI keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how Kink does it, I think you should do it with a computer.
I love it because I love Surgeon as well, Tony Surgeon, and I like
Yeah.
yeah, obviously Karen as well, and it's Stephen Bodzin as well. Even his little mix of things, wicked. But what blows my mind, because for me, I use headphones when I do live, because I actually make the sounds while I'm doing. So if I've got one song playing,
You'll be making them.
I'll be making like the keys on another one, and then have like one kick going, and then layer in my other kick, and then because I know like VCOs and all my filters and stuff and oscillators, I can kind of know what I want. And then
that's what I meant before about learning how to produce from being able to from using synths, because I know now that I didn't know on Massive that VCO did this and this and this. Now you just like naturally know, don't you? Like I want this sound, so yeah.
And then it was like and then I've got the Boss distortion pedal, and I had the Boss compression pedal. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, you got the overdrive. There you go. I had the orange one.
That on a 303 with reverb is beautiful.
And I actually used the DJM 700 because that's all I could afford, and used the built-in effects for that.
Oh, that's decent though.
Yeah, that's all I could, because obviously I don't have loads of money. I don't have money for like an proper effects thing. But I know Satek, he uses a Chaos pad, doesn't he, for all his effects?
Yeah, I had one of them, KP3, but I don't really like them. It was good for like your rises and stuff, but in my Digitac now, I will have I don't know if you use the Digitac with the trigs, so you can have every 16 bars, every third 16th, like you can set trigs like that. I will have a riser or an impact, and I work around them like that. I just, because I was like, I had the case, but I was just like, it's an extra bit of kit, and it's fucking heavy as well. It's well heavy. And just using it for effects, obviously it's originally for like hip hop vocals sampling and doing breaks and things. I was just like, it's overkill, but it is good for the swooshes and whooshes. But it's a bit too, you forget sometimes as well, because you're doing like a million other things. I would forget to go and do all that. Brains on other things.
I'm glad I'm having this chat with you, and thanks for you obviously staying behind and chatting with me about it, because I love geeking out on this shit. So
yeah.
Oh mate, it's because for me, I'm not as advanced as you guys for sure, and but I haven't got as much effects in my stuff, but I kind of build a tune, and then I'll master like a swoosh, and then I'll just hit it in. But a lot of the time on my BeatStep Pro, I will you can get, I think you can have 16 saved kind of 16 bar loops of like sounds, and you can use the knobs for different keys. So I will save like patterns or patches in that BeatStep Pro, and then I'll go from 1 to 2. And then if I feel really, really brave, then I'll just fucking make random shit.
That's good. That is amazing though. Like you'd be surprised. Like I said, and nothing anyone else like Satek, love it. But again, he uses everything's all. It's all pre-done on the laptop. When Hannes plays live, his entire set, he presses play on Ableton, and it's all in there. Yeah. He just plays Moog over the top and stuff, and everyone has their own different way of doing it.
Of course, yeah.
Like mine, I some like people watch me play them and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I literally don't know. I just do it.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like your own way of doing it. I'd love to see a Volca set with the chord.
Yeah,
Volca
I'll send it to you. And but
yeah.
David Bowie said the one great thing. He said, "Music's just a bunch of silly noises. Don't take it seriously." And I was like, "Mate, that's so true." So
It is.
yeah,
That is the best quote. That and Dead Mouse's don't use a kick as the bass.
yeah.
That's that's what everyone's doing at the minute. They're the two things I would take. Bowie and Dead Mouse. I'll have those.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking wicked. But yeah, thanks so much for your time again, mate. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Sweet. Cool. Thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. Lovely talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Take it easy.
All right. See you later, man.
See you, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.